Hey everyone, welcome to another adventure. My name is Daniel Cervantes and you're watching Christian Adventure Gamer. Today we're going to be taking a look at this game over here, Everdell. This is the collector's edition. And so this game is 1 to 4 players. There's a solo mode. Ages 13 and up. I may disagree with that a little bit, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video. So let's dive in, open this up, and see how the game is set up, because I want to show you how the game is set up and how it's kind of played. And then I'll give my final thoughts and do a little therapy snip. Alright, so let's dive down. So look at this beautiful artwork on this box before I open it. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is the collector's edition, like I mentioned. And so I'm not exactly sure completely what all the differences will be from the collector's to the standard. But that's just a slip cover. Comes off. Think about just actually ungluing this, or just taking something, cutting it, and using it as a wall art, because I think it's just beautiful. So then we actually have the box here. It's got some really nice lettering here. And then I had the designer of the game, James A. Wilson, sign the game. So, and then opening up this, so you have the rule book, and this is just the collector's edition stuff. So I'm gonna throw it in there. We don't need it. And then I'll show you how to put this tree together, because a lot of people have difficulty putting the tree together. And so I think it's very important for me to show you in this video how to put the tree together. So I actually had some difficulty, and I bent my tree a little bit until I figured it out. I had an aha moment and realized, oh, that's how it goes together. So these will slide in here like so. Okay. So make sure that's down in there nice. Okay. And so this is actually going to go over like this. Make sure the big ends are pointing that way. So those go down just like that. Okay, so now this part here, you notice how one side is autumn. That obviously goes here. And so you're going to put it down at an angle. So start to kind of put it down. See how this has like no cardboard here? Slide this down, push it into that, and then bring it over. And then bring it down and over, and voila! Tree is set up now. Right? So, okay. And you have the board. I wish that maybe James, if you're watching this, it'd be nice to have like a playmat of this, and it could just be perfectly circular, if that was something that you could do, and just have it marked here. This is where the discard pile goes, or whatever. So the tree goes here like so. Back it up a little bit. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up real quick. So I'm gonna actually shuffle some of these cards. I don't have all of them out. I don't have all of them out yet. So shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And then I'm going to put 8 here in the meadow. This is considered the meadow. This is the forest. And then this is where the events go, special events go. This is how you set up the game. Okay? And so I'll set it up for a 4-player game. I'm not going to do anything but maybe one turn. Explain how everything works. So then I take the rest of these cards. And I have some cards still in a package that I put in there because it's for the collector's edition stuff. So all the bonus material. I don't really need all that. And so, before I put this in the tree, and so starting with the first player, let's say I'm the first player, I'm going to get 5 cards. The next person's going to get 6. So the next person is going to get 7. The last person is going to get 8. Okay? And so at no point in time can a person have more than 8 cards in their hand. And if they do have to draw, the next person would get those cards, I do believe. No, sorry, I take it back. If someone was to give the player with 8 cards, those cards have to get discarded. So if I was to, let's say I had 8 cards, if I was to draw, I cannot draw. So I just ignore that part. And so I'm just going to set these over here. So I'm only going to use my hand for right now. And then I have all these cards here. So I have the special events, which they have requirements. So in order to use them, so I'm going to set that there, turn that. So in order to get this requirement, I have to have the peddler and the general store, and then I have to put a meeple on this to get this event, to get those points. And likewise, I have to have the inn and the bard for this one. And so I put it on the tree for the special event, and then I have to put a meeple on there in order to get that event. There's that. And then I'll take these, shuffle these, and I'm going to put one in each one of these areas here. And so they allow you to do extra stuff. And I'll explain that in a second. So, I'm going to take the white mice, I'm guessing they're mice, and then I'll take a turtle. I also have rats, porcupines, and squirrels. Well, I'm not going to set. Well, I guess yeah. I'll show you how everything goes on the tree. So, and then you have these special locations here that award points. They go on the board. Oops. There, that goes there. That goes right there. So then you have all these berries. And they want to roll a little bit. I have turtles. Well, I'm going to get out the rest of the stuff first. So, I have pebbles. Pebbles are going to go right here. And then I have this thing is called resin. They're like little orange jewels. And then I have these little twigs or sticks or whatever. I wish that they had one flat side, because they roll way too easily and I have to chase them down. See how they just kind of roll off? And I don't want them to fall off the table or nothing. So we are constantly chasing these things down. So I wish that, again, they had one flat side. I'm half tempted just to take something and melt down one side of the plastic just so they don't roll. I'm just going to leave these over here because I don't have to worry about constantly chasing them down. So each player is going to get 2 meeples, and the rest of them are going to go on the tree. So I'm going to take these and just stick them over here for right now, these little cards. And then I have these mice. Okay, so I'm going to be the mice. I'm going to take 2, and then I'll put 1 here. And then I'm going to put 1 here. And I'm going to take the other 2 and put them here in the autumn. And then, let's say the next player is the turtles. So again, he gets a turtle. Here, turtle there. Oop. And then 2 turtles. I'm going to put, make sure that guy's not upside down for one. Put these guys right here in autumn. The next guy is going to be porcupines. And then 2 porcupines in autumn. 2 porcupines, 1 porcupine in the summer. 1 porcupine in the spring. And then I have 2 squirrels. Go to the last player. I'm going to take 2 squirrels, put them in autumn. I think that's the best way to try to fit them on the tree. Because if you don't divide them up like that, you're not going to get all 4 players on there. Okay, so I have meeples on the autumn, as you can see here. And you have, like, the game starts in winter, okay, and then you have spring, summer, and autumn. And so I'll show you with the symbol on the card that shows a little bit better. In the spring, there's a little symbol here. It looks like a little plant coming out of the ground. That means that when this event happens, that will trigger on your card. So, like, for instance, this husband has a card that has that symbol, and it says gain 1 of any resource if paired with a wife and you have at least one farm in your city. So that will actually be a nice little upgrade to have, because when you buy him, that happens if he's paired and you have a farm, and here's a farm here, it says gain 1 berry. So if I have the farm and I go to prepare for season, I go into spring, I'm actually going to gain 1 berry from this guy because that's going to trigger again. And the same thing in autumn. Okay. During the summer, I don't get any resources that trigger. However, it says draw 2 meadow cards. And so I can draw 2 cards from here, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay. And so I have my mice. Oop, porcupine fell. Alright, so I look at my cards to figure out what I want first. And so on my turn, I can either place a meeple, I can play a card and pay for it, or I can prepare for season. Okay? And so in order to buy a card, like this Evertree right on this right-hand corner, sorry, left-hand corner here, it tells you what the cost is to build it. It's a construction. If I was to play this wife, I would need 2 berries, or if you read right here, it says a farm. I get to play that for free if I have a farm because it would go into that one farm. Okay? Which reminds me, I have these little tokens here with these little doors that signify that the space has been occupied and I cannot use that location to get a free critter again. And then I have metal coins for points. It's really nice. Alright, so let's say on my first turn, what I want to do is I want to build this farm because I have that wife. And so let's say I need 2 sticks and a resin. Well, the best thing I'm going to be able to do on my first turn is probably come over here and get 3 sticks. Oops, that guy's upside down. I'm going to gain 3 sticks. And that comes over here to me. The next person is going to go, and let's say they go here and take a stone, because there's not very many ways to get stone in this game. And so let's say the porcupine is going to go here and just gain a couple resin. Okay, and let's say the squirrel is going to go, and let's say he's going to go here, any one resource. So let's say he takes a stone, because stones are hard to get in this game. Okay, so then on my next turn, I'm going to take my little mouse here, and I need some resin. So I'm just going to come over here and gain 2 resin and 1 twig. Alright? And say that's the next person. The turtle is going to go. And let's say he's going to gain a resin and a card. Okay? And then the porcupine is going to go. And he's going to go here. And he's gaining 2 sticks and 1 card. Okay, and then the squirrel's going to go. Well, he can go to any other location because we're playing a 4-player game. So let's say he goes here and takes 2 resin and a stick. All right, so now it's back to me. I'm going to buy this meadow or this farm from the meadow on my turn, and I have to replace the meadow like that. Okay, and then on the next turn, the porcupine, sorry, the turtle. Let's see what can he do? He can actually build the general store. So he's going to pay 1 stone and 1 resin. So let's say he builds that in his little area over here. Okay, and then over here, the porcupine. He's got 2 twigs and 2 resin. So he can't really do anything this turn because he just needs a stone. He doesn't have any. Doesn't have any berries. He could build, well, he doesn't have any stone or berries, and so that's what he needs. So like I said, stones are hard to get. So he's going to have to prepare for season. So he's going to call these. Well, actually, hold on. Let's see what's on the meadow first, because he can obviously get stuff from the meadow. So he's got two sticks and 2 resin. So he can actually get a farm. So he's going to get a farm for 2 sticks and 1 resin. I don't want his turn to be cheated. Okay, I'm trying to think of how I'd play that turn. So the next person has a twig, a stone, and 2 resin. That's the squirrel. And he's actually going to build a fairgrounds for 1 stick, 2 resin, and 1 stone. Alright, so that's going to go over here. On my turn, I got to replace this. I can now play my wife for free, and then I take one of these little occupied locations here, and I can place it there, but I should have gained a berry. I forgot. I should have gained a berry when I played the farm. The porcupine should have gained a berry when he played his farm. So that's going to be very important for us to remember. And then the general store should have gave also 1 berry to the person that played it. And then the fairgrounds says that he should have drew 2 cards. But he probably already has, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, he has the fairgrounds and no other resources. So he can't play anything right now. So he's just going to prepare for season. So he's going to get his 2 workers back here. He's going to get this. His card would trigger again, but he can't draw any cards, so it's not going to matter there. On my turn, I could say I have 1 berry. I have 2 resin, 3 sticks. So I should have actually paid. There we go. I must not have put my materials back when I built my farm. So, all right. So then I can try to figure out what I can do next. There's not much I can do, but I know I want this farmer here, or this husband, because I need him for my wife, but I cannot use him for free because I've already occupied my farm for 1 critter. So I'm going to have to wait till the next turn. So I'm going to prepare for season. So that means I'm going to take my, I'm going to take my mice here. I'm going to take my mouse from here, and then I'm going to gain another berry from my farm because it triggers in the spring. Okay? And so then the next person here, which is the turtle, they are going to look at their hand, and they have a general store, so they could actually get this rabbit for free. Okay? And the rabbit has a blue emblem, which means that happens in response. So, and then that's all he can do for right now. And then the next person has a farm and one berry and 1 resin. So let's see what he can do. He has a farm. Well, obviously the smartest thing for him to do is to take this farmer here, this husband. So that's going to go in his location there. But obviously I'm not really doing a whole lot. So then that space becomes occupied there. Okay, so obviously you're going to need room for 15 cards. And there are some cards that allow you to gain extra cards without occupying space. Like for instance, this wanderer here says does not take up space in your city. Okay, if I was able to get a husband with this wife, the husband, let's say I had this over here, would actually share a space with her in the city, which is really nice. And then she has a purple flower symbol here, which means this happens at the end of the game, so she'd actually get a bonus 3 points for having the husband. So at the end of the game, you're going to count up all your little victory points here, any victory points that you were able to acquire here, or any of these locations here that you're able to acquire. And so this game evolves. But we can take it back up top and give my thoughts. All right, so that was Everdell, and like I showed you in the video, I just did like a quick setup and showed you how to place your meeples on the tree, how the tree went together, and how rounds kind of played. And so I kind of mentioned that the game evolves. And so I noticed this when James A. Wilson, was showing this game at Gen Con. So the game evolves by, you start off with 2 meeples, and with just those 2 meeples, you can gather resources to build several cards right from the beginning. And I say several because if you can buy the constructions, then there's common construction and there's unique construction. And so the unique means that you can only have one of that specific construction in your city, and common means you can have any number, and you have common critters, unique critters. Well, each location goes specifically with a critter or vice versa. And so if I focus on building certain constructions, my first season of the game, because you have winter, spring, summer, and autumn, and at the end of autumn the game ends once everyone is done. And so if I can focus on building certain constructions, I can start playing critters for free, okay? Because like I'll show you here. So I have this farm, right? And so on this farm, tells me how much it costs there. Well, if I have a husband or a wife, if you look up here, it tells what location it goes to, and you can get that for free. But if you do that, there's a little circle down here with a picture in every construction that tells you what critter goes in there. And also, the one thing that I love what James A. Wilson, I'm just gonna say James from now on, did was that he incorporated every critter that goes with the construction in the picture somewhere. So if I was to, zoom in on this picture, on this farm, the husband is on this ladder right here, and then over here, the wife is in the background. You can barely see her, but she's in between the house and the barn, which is really neat. Okay, and so the first turn, I can start building, and then, or not my first turn, but my first season, I can start building. And so if I can get the resources I need, right? And so then the next season, and then these green cards that have this little green symbol here, they're going to give you something right when you build it, and then at different seasons. And so I can actually start building things right away, and the game evolves by, you think that the things are just going to be simple and easy, it has a very light feel to it, but really it's very complex, because you can start really thinking about what you can do next, and then when you have more players, you have to really think about what you really need to do first, because like I should have bought that husband first before playing the wife from my hand. The reason that is somebody else got him, so I should have got him first. That should have been the first thing I did, to build him, right? So as the game evolves, it progresses, and so more things are going to happen. Their city's going to get bigger, and then sometimes I get to 15 cards. I'm like, I can't build anymore. I need a ruin or a dungeon. I should have built a dungeon so I could get rid of something, or find some way to get rid of something. And so I could have killed a critter. I think there's a cemetery, and I think that if you have the beetle, maybe it does something like that. I can't remember. But then you also have the wanderer that takes up no spaces, so that's nice. And the husband and wives can share spaces, and so you're only limited by 15 spaces. So when I get to 15 spaces, I have to try to work on building victory points by other means. So the game evolves, as I keep saying, by having nothing to start with, having no city, and then it grows over time, and you become more familiar with everything, and then you get more stuff, and then it gets bigger throughout the whole game. So it's not like, okay, you get this, you get that, you get this, next person's turn, and it goes around, and da, da. No, you're actually building something, and it's completely evolving, and you're actually starting to see how you're constructing your city. And so I may try to get stuff specific to my city, so it's going to give me the most victory points, or do things to other players. So that's just how I play. The components of the game are great. Love the components. You have these little berries, you have the stones, feel like a polished stone, you have these little resin jewels, and you have these twigs or sticks or whatever, and it gives you different creatures to use. And so it was great to meet you, James, if you're watching this video. Thanks for the time that you took with me and showing me the game. This game completely has piqued my interest and scratches that tableau building worker placement itch, and so So yeah, that's my thoughts on Everdell. Great game. So stick around and I'll give you my therapy insight on it. Thank you for sticking around for the therapy corner. And so in this game, the way that I could use this in therapy is I can play off on the problem-solving skills that you're going to learn. Obviously there's passing, taking turns. One thing that I've heard mentioned is that the text is small. I mean, the text is kind of small on the cards, and that's probably one of the downfalls of the game, other than the twigs, not having one flat side and they just roll. They can roll off the table. But anyways, that is actually kind of a good thing. And I say that because asking someone to pass something to you is a very important social skill. So if you play with someone that's complaining, like in therapy, not necessarily at home with friends or whatever, in therapy, and so if someone's complaining about not being able to read the cards, you can always encourage them, well, hey, if you ask me, I can pass you the card. So why don't you try that? Okay, and so that's a good skill to build on, but obviously that was not in mind when they made this game. And there's just a lot of things going on with these cards, and so that's why there's so much text, or sometimes there's not very much text, it's just the text is small and it's a little harder to read. The problem-solving skills that people are going to work on with this game, and being able to ask, to pass, and hand things to each other is very important social skills, the problem-solving skills in this. And so when I use this in therapy, I mean, people that struggle with problem-solving skills are going to be able to see their game evolve and everything kind of happen and take over. So those things are very important to anyone that struggles. So being able to learn problem-solving skills, especially when it comes to coping skills, because a lot of times people use negative coping skills instead of positive coping skills. So if you can help them to see the world that they're building, how they affect everything, you can help them to think about positive coping skills and positive strategies to move forward and problem solve. And I think that's what this game helps with. So hey, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.